Hello everyone for a new video for 3.16 Scourge League. So we're going to go over the patch notes in sort of a quick way. I looked at them a little bit on stream. It's a lot. So we're just going to go through each category, find out the couple things that matter, and then move on. A couple of these sections were already in the manifesto, so we'll skip those parts, which saves a lot of time. Patch notes, they don't really show that much. Not that much on the skills. A lot of stuff we've already saw from the reveal trailer. So we're going to try to go through it quickly and try to get it under 20 minutes as possible. So pretty much we're going to skip anything that's not interesting, Pretty much we already know about the whole league mechanic because it's the same every league. We're just going to try to go quickly through it. With the new gems already added, we're not going to go through that either. The new divinations. The fact that we already know about, we'll go through it later. All the new ores we already know about, like the new chromatic, the jeweler, the fusing, the blessing, the sacred orb, like all those kind of things. Pretty much, I think chromatic's gonna be one of the bigger ones to get because, if you have like a 6-link item that's corrupted, this tainted chromatic will help you fix the colors, which I think is pretty nice. All these come from Scourge, like we already know. Pretty much stackable items drop from chest rewards such as Delve, Ritual, Incursion, Delirium, Blight will no longer be multiple stacks of the same item. Just put them all together as one big one so you can click on it and move out. Very nice quality of life improvement. Map fragments from, all the map fragments, the Shapers, the Elders, Pale Quartz, Scarabs, all that will now be up to stack of 10s, which is really nice, especially the Scarabs. Incubators now show item level, same thing, stack up to 10. They did not rework Act 2 and 3 like they originally said because they have so much other things to fix. So, a couple of visual effects in Act 2, but nothing big. Expedition went core, Act 6 forward, like we already know about. No longer tradable currency from Expedition. Only thing you can trade is the reroll items and law books, which is not bad. It makes you use it more. Tujin is still going to be overpowered this league. Go Tujin. Everything that was Parangus, like all the Scarabs, the Incubators, all that kind of stuff, just goes to Expedition. Same with Watchstones. Pretty much like what we just actually talked about. How about the new stuff on there. Parangus, where got removed. All the unique map is gone from the game. And the unique drop pool, the 7 leagues and all those ones, are in the actual regular core drop pool now. And then pretty much for the guild, pretty much you can control click items finally into guild and out, which is like one thing I'm happy about. No one really uses guild stash that much, but it's nice to be able to control click. It just saves a lot of time. Hideout improvements, no more favors. You can just buy whatever you want. New Uber, we have Uber Blight Ravage maps, which we saw pretty much the higher tier. I think it's tier 14 plus. That can be anointed 9 times, which I believe I said it. I looked at it wrong. I believe it's only 9 oils we put on it. I was thinking because each one technically is anointment. I'm thinking 3 of the same equals 1 anointment. So I think it's 9 oils, not 27 like I originally thought. The new, whatever you call it, Relenting Timeless Emblem, apparently, that only drops from domain, Ravenous Blight drops in Blight maps. The new Timeless Emblems drops in the Timeless Domain, which I think if you're gonna want to make money, and if you were doing 5-way carries in every league, you're gonna be dropping these on top of it. They're probably gonna be the host only, so they're making a lot of money. We had the as Legion, many Legion monsters have a maximum distance. They're able to use their long range skills. A little bit. The new Flawless Breach Stones. I don't know. I believe these only drop from what do you want to call them? The Maven watching them, or the other one. I'm thinking it's in the that. I heard the name of it, but it's the actual Maven boss fight arena with the Breach Lords in them, which are a pain in the ass to do. pretty much all stuff we already talked about. So all of them drop at the end like I showed in the video, instead of dropping throughout, which makes it a lot easier. The 10 extra ways in Simulacrum, now it's a 30. You're going to need a very good build for this, which I think would be really fun to test. I think because of this, maybe Simulacrums will still be the 1 exalt each, I'll be happy about. But I think going from 21 to 30 is not going to be easy for a lot of builds. I'm pretty sure you're going to need some really good builds to take that on, which will be really fun. Extra bosses, extra rewards, very good. I think my probably best way in the game getting cluster jewels. And then they buffed Delirium more, as we already know. Atlas and map pack changes. I'm going to make this a separate video. I have the spreadsheet, and I also made my own spreadsheet too. That talks about like what each region has and like what I would say you take and all that. So that'll be the next video after this. Probably. And then we know about the maps that got removed from this league. You know, we did lose City Square. That sucks. Burial Chambers is gone. Graveyard's gone. Beach is gone, which really sucks. Jungle Valley's gone. Like, there's a lot of good maps in here that are gone, so it should be interesting. You know, Shipyard, like, the very quick ones are out of there. We're gonna skip this. This is all about the map system, which I want to say for the next video. Just all where bases can drop, easy if you want to try to find better bases. They changed some of the homes to the divination cards. So the only good one on here really look at is the Fiend. If you want to try to farm Fiend cards like we see with Doctors and Burial Chambers, you can try the Porgy's Asylum for Fiend. I don't know, bots I'm pretty sure is super small though. Atlas changed, which we'll talk about later. They added Expedition to the Atlas. It's in the other thing though. They did combine some of them together. So Delve got a nice rework. I do think this is pretty good for Delvers. No, so once you hit 6,000, your everything still gets harder. But they did rework some of the fossils also, so they're not, a couple of the ones that are not used as often got reworked, which is really nice. And then also, like we saw in the trailer, that you can just go into Delve with first character at level 90 and start at that 101, I believe. Yeah, 101, which is a huge save of time, and I wouldn't touch Delve until level 90 now, pretty much. Or like 80, 90 zone. So rewards will be let's now scale faster. We start with which will be really nice. Like, for example, Depth 500 is more rewarding than Depth 1000 previously. So pretty much they're also going to make it easier to spawn bosses. So like finding all will be really good. Finding the bosses should be a lot easier. They always going to have mods though, and they'll have more drops, looks like. So bossing should be easier if you never really find bosses. Before this change, bosses is really rare to find. I've gone through a lot of Delve, and I'm lucky to find one boss. How rare it is to find. So sulfite capacity, like we already know, is double the starting. No more of the alchemy resonator. These are the ones you have to scour on white items. Can drop anymore. Bloodstained fossils now corrupt your item. Enchanted fossils have been renamed draft fossils, which grant crit, which is actually really nice. And no attribute modifiers instead of the labyrinth one. This was the labyrinth fossil that now is no one really used anymore because of the change to labs, which I think this is pretty nice. There's a lot of clusters that use crit, so these will definitely help rolling cluster jewels and some gear too. The Crusted Fossil has been renamed, so this is now the attribute one and this is pretty much the opposite of the new enchant one. So the enchant is more crit, no attribute. This one is more attribute, no crit. Interesting. I don't think the attribute is the biggest one, but I'm hoping this one is not super rare. Entangled Fossils gives you a random modifier instead of any fossil modifier. Lab change. This is sort of what we already know about. that we already saw and went over. You know, only one is offering. Level 68. No longer in white maps. So we're gonna try go through like elements and like all the element stuff easier to get now. I'm not gonna sit here and go through every single one, but it's pretty much if you want to element immunity this league, it's easy to do. I'm pretty sure nothing. But yeah, it's like some types of change. Like it's hard to do stuff without skill tree. Like, you know, all the stuff about the Pantheon changes that we already know about. You know, stuff from the benches that you can get, the rank attribute, ranks to 1, 2, 3. All the stuff we've already pretty much know about. Like all the new stuff they're adding, the essences, the timeless jewel stuff. Like this is all pretty much old. The flash changes we already know about. This look like they're about the same. Yeah, so we can skip this. Try to save much time as possible. Faster we can skip things, the better. Yep, we already know about this. The enkindling orbs got buffed. You know, with that belt, Pathfinder could be pretty scary. There's a change to some skills, which without seeing the path of building tree being updated, it's not. We can just go skip it. So let's talk about the armors we already know about. How much evasion, armor. This also they did change where something like the offensive, the fire damage, cold damage, elemental resistance. It just changed it where it was in the campaign. You know, Grayscale Gem, that was more evasion. You know, change some stuff like that, some reworks, wordings. The new spell is Spell Supremacy. This is the new evasion stuff, armor. Like the Brass Dome is on here. Like actually we didn't have the numbers when we looked at Brass Dome last time. So it no longer has 10%. So it no longer gives you the 10% reduced movement speed, 50% increased shock duration on you, or 30% reduced chance to block spell damage. Instead, it now gets 350 to 400 increased armor. Previously, it was 600, 6, yep. Plus 1 to all max res, not bad. And gains no bonuses from strength. So you lose, reduce movement speed's gone, increase shock duration, no one cares. So it's just lost the armor pretty much. Uncapped fire is now increased. I mean, the Transcendent Keystone. They didn't give us the actual numbers actually. So now it's minus 15 the max elemental resistance instead of minus 5. Rim gauge is now 140 to 160 increase ES from 180 to 200. That's a big nerf. Doriani went down. Lion's Eye Remorse. It lost a lot of armor. I think that's really it. Armor, max res, the Veil modifiers we already know about. I was originally gonna have like a sheet that already had all this stuff on there. It took a long time to do it, so let's be faster. This is stuff about the new unique talisman. Yeah, who cares? So it's about like ES recovery. I think ES is gonna be very good this league. Ghost Weaver Keystone passive now prevents your ES from recharging previous 50% less recharge. You know, the Coast Dance on the thing. Treasure Sensing will not change. There's no longer grants. Oh, will change because no grant Ghost Dance. We're not going to go over any of this kind of stuff, you know, with the new Keystone. It's like, we need to see the POB. Like, talking about it doesn't matter because it's already in the video. Replica Zuri's formal unique amulet now grants 20 to 25 instead of just recovery rate. Concentrated Ground now regenerates 1% less life. Who cares? I mean, is there anything on here that's like not like baby number change, like big numbers we're looking for mainly? Yeah, the gladiator change. They changed a couple things around. We'll go over more when POB gets updated. Bone offering no longer causes minions to recover life when they block. 4% regen. The Shaper suffix modifier on shields now grants chance to block spell damage. Oh. That's actually a big one right there. Because you would normally use Shaper shields because it gives you like chance to block spells, nice, like those. You don't use them often, but it's another way to get around things. I mean, you still get up here though, so it's still not the worst. Maybe it just moved off a Shaper. Like, I'm not gonna go over all the block stuff because it's a lot of stuff to go over. You know, like what the blind change we already know about. The Flesh and Stone. Did they go over the numbers though? Flesh and Stone changed back to 25 because of this. So it now has enemies mained by your skill take 8% increased fizz damage from 13, so that sort of hurts. And now to 11 at 20 instead of 16. So still take more damage, but nerf. Tempest Shield's been reworked, so that's now a 25% reservation. And you get immunity to shock with spell block, which I think you'll still use this on a lot of builds. Temp Shield, still very good. So it no longer gives you the 3% chance to block attack damage. It's now 18% chance to block spell damage while holding a shield. So, I mean, spell damage is hard to get usually, so it's definitely not bad. Up to 25% is really good. Property of shooting out lightnings on block. I mean, that's not bad. Arctic armor, immune to freeze. So I think Tempest Shield block builds really good. The change to fortified, I'm not going to go over fortified. We already know about it. Dread Banner. No one really uses fortified for Dread Banner. Oh, Kingmaker. Now grants nearby. I'm looking for the bigger stuff like I know about. Like Kingmaker. So, because Kingmaker used to give you permanent fortified. Now grants nearby allies, I'm pretty sure, 10 fortification instead of fortifying nearby allies. It now has 190 to 200%. Who cares about that part? So it is changing. You don't get permanent fortify, I guess, anymore. Build modifiers that grant 50. I'll be hearing about the fortified. Oh, Vigilant Strike. No longer cannot be evaded. It will now have melee strike fortify for 8 seconds. So previously it was grant fortify for 6. And almost like you don't really use it unless you're actually like really good at the game to switch back and forth. The Withering Worm Summon. This usually you would use the Withering with Vigilant Strike to give yourself what you want to call it, fortified. We're found the generally fortifications. Yep, that's why you really ran the combo together. So we've changed them so they're not a limit threshold similar to that of normal monsters. So I guess you can't probably get fortified as easy. Auras. I'm not going to go over all the auras. Aura bots is still going to be very good next league. Not as strong, but you can still do aura bots as a weaker version. But like, this stuff's, people are going to have videos going about how it's going to work. But like Essence Worm, 80% reduction reserve instead of 40% increase. Like, we just have to play with this stuff. Like all the cluster jewels, we already went over all those. This talks about each one. Like any cluster jewel that said increase or that we're saying like reduce mana reserve, all got changed. Easiest way of just going through all those very quickly. Same with the curses. It's just makes it easier. Damage over time, we already know about the buffs on all this, like Creeping Frost, Winter Tide Brand, Cold Snap, all got their hard numbers buffed because of the E and O and EO got nerfed. You know, like all the fire skills got buffed. All the changes they made to a lot of this. I'm not gonna go over all of them though. Like Hex Blast deals more damage. I mean, it could still be playable. I'll have to see. I'm curious though, is like Shattering Steel, Ten of Purities you already know about. Like a lot of these we already knew about. I don't see Fire Burst. I was curious to see how fast. Look at it later. You know, we already know about the Elemental Overload. I'm not gonna go through all that. Like Summoning Raging Spirits, now all their damage is fire. Ooh. So damage dealt by Flame, Ice, Lightning Golem have been increased, so they up their damage to be more like the Carrion Golems. You know, more defensive, influence modifiers on rings for, you know, all the stuff that we went over. Burning Arrow change, which who cares? It's really hard without POE. Like, they lower the amount of life from the Scion wheel, and it's added all over the place. About like 9% increased life has been removed. And change on the damage, like, a lot of this stuff is more like skill tree stuff. Like, you know, add new clusters for spell block, life regen, leech, all that kind of stuff. Spread out the keystones. Put some clusters, put some of the cluster jewel stuff in there so you don't need to run as many clusters anymore. But I was just trying to go through the quicker stuff. You know, like Gladiator, Trickster, gotta change it. I'm not gonna really go over these till we see the stuff. You know, Ghost Chance change. Oh yeah, this is a big one I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a little bit longer video than I was hoping for, but we're actually almost done. So Awakening Gems are finally getting rebuffed. Only the level 5 version is though. So now it's no more, you know, 2120 versus a 120 Awakening Gem. Even a 520 Awakening Gem in Expedition League was pretty much like a 5%, 10%, maybe a 5% more damage for mini exalts more. Wasn't even worth it. But now a lot of them are getting like +1 gem levels on them. You know, some of them are gaining a lot of the reworks back, like added fire damage now gives you +1 level of supported fizz gems at level 5. Awaken burning damage gives you +1 fire damage. Like these are really good. Like Cold Pen, all the pens give you like exposures. You know, like GMPs, like all like I mean, Awaken Hex Touch still sucks. You know, like Awaken Melee Fizz got its Intimidate back. It's just instead of quality as you have to level 5. You know, minion damage gets +1 minion skills, really good. Multi strike, a little bit, not much. Like Void Manipulation, +1 chaos skills, unleash, an extra seal. So I think the level 5 stuff is really good for Awakening Gems. I definitely agree with it. It should have been in there. Removed melee strike range from skills, put it on the tree. It sucks for Dominating Blow. I think it's the only one that got hit the hardest on this. With Dominating Blow pretty much not having all of its strike range anymore. Here we go. Spectral Shield Throw. It got nerfed. We knew it was coming. We didn't know how it was going to happen, but I think people were saying it lost about 30 to 40% damage. And Spectral Shield Throw, people knew it was not a bosser. It was a fun map pop build. But it did get nerfed. We're just going to say that. And then also the lab champ that gave you the projectile is now only a 2 instead of 3. And then also same thing with the Luber one instead of 5, it's 3. So it's definitely got hurt. Forbidden Right totems, we knew this was coming. Now, pretty much Forbidden Right deal 400 damage to himself instead of what it used to be. So now they're going to kill themselves faster. But, you know, people were clearing endgame on a Soul Mantle 1 link with this. So what to see, really. I'm not going to league start with Forbidden Right totem because it's be too dangerous if the build sucks. But I still think the build could be very viable. People just have to find new ways of making it. You know, they just changed the life numbers on the uniques pretty much. Like Soul Mantle lost about 20% life. The boots lost about 20% life on for the gold. So I mean, it's just life on the totems went down, and they deal more damage to themselves. Just try to hurt Forbidden Right. But if you want to play the old Forbidden Right build, you should have no problem. If you're doing like Rutu, I think made a build last in Expedition about the Oculus self-casting that you just kept leeching your life back and pretty much it just wrecked everything. So I think that build's very viable. Dark Pack got hit too a little bit on this. Don't know the numbers. Ghastly would know more about that. You know, they try to buff some of the old skills. Like, I don't think these numbers are big enough though. We're just going to skip it. Pretty much, where are you at? I think it's all these actually. So they went on pretty much the only one that matters, the cock builds. They pretty much try to change up a little bit of the mana reserve. Maybe it's more playable to make it a little bit better for early game probably. Spectral Shield Throw, they just touched Spectral Throw, they just touched the mana cost, so doesn't really matter too much. It'd be matter more if it was like the actual damage. But they just reduced a little bit of the mana, that's it. Not by much at all. You know, they changed Ward, made it a little bit stronger. Hopefully people might use it. They buffed Breach Uniques. To be honest, the biggest one on here is the Skin of the Lords. This is the one, the Skin of the Loyal is the original one. The one you get from Chilulu Breachstones. That gives you +1. So now Skin of the Lords is the blessed version of it. So now this is the one that gives you +2 with a keystone on it, but your colors you can't change, just be careful on that. And then they buffed the Voice of the Storm and the Core of the Storm. This is the necklace from Esh. So they pretty much, I guess, they give you crit strike chance increased by overcap lightning res. So previously it was just increased by lightning resistant. And this gives you -30 lightning res, but it's a lot more crit chance now you can have from it. Could be pretty fun to play with. They added crit tag to some things. Zuri, I was hoping for a rework to the items, but this is not bad. Pretty much Disfavor, instead of being Uber Zuri, went down to regular Zuri. And Pledge of Hands went to Uber Zuri instead. And they buffed, I guess like the gloves got buffed a little bit. That's pretty much it. Traps, pretty much the only thing from this I know is that traps and mines when you throw them are invulnerable for 2 seconds. So not bad. We're looking for things that are easy. Change some stuff about the bosses for elements. Oh yeah, so pretty much there's trying to go through this quick right now. There are crafts that come from like delve or incursions, the prophecies. Everyone knows about multi-craft and all those fun ones. So they pretty much because we know they're going to write prophecy in the future. I guess this is probably the way of doing it to get ready for it. So pretty much they took them out of their expected areas and now they're just in maps. So if you want to get multi-mod, I'm pretty sure they should be in one of the maps. I don't know which map they're going to be in, but if you complete all 118 maps in the game, you should have every craft in the game. All the multi-mods, all that kind of stuff. So pretty good. And in the temples too. So it's definitely a little bit lot easier for getting your crafts now. Veil mods, we already know that's unlock 1, unlocks all 3 tiers. Sacred Blossom, RIP, replica Forbidden Shenko. It pretty much got deleted from the game from Heist. So they pretty much took the original Shenko helmet. This is the one that gives you the double support gem. This is the one that was like 400 exalts in Expedition League. And they pretty much made it drop from a Shabi. And pretty much, they pretty much made it more in line. So now it's one level 1 through 10 support gem and 125 to 35 support gem. You have to throw a Divine Orb on the helmet and just hope you get 2 good items. Because you can't, once you Divine it, it changes both of them every time. Pretty much they buffed the shit out of Quivers. So both builds get a lot better with the more damage on everything. And I guess no more using a Quiver with Unarm. I didn't know this was a thing. Apparently it was. They pretty much are going to say like what weapons require certain skills, which is pretty nice. Golem, I mean, this is pretty bad. Just a little life regen on the golems doesn't mean anything. Harvest, this is a pretty nice change to it. It's what they mentioned in the Q&A, I believe it was, or one of the two. That the when you use Harvest, there was always it would always split sometimes your Harvest, like, this crit reforge can only be used on a normal or magic or a rare, and it was really annoying when you get like 6 normals, 1 magic, 2 magic, like 1 rare. Now it's all the same grouped together as one, so Harvest crafting got a lot easier. Triangle quick, triangle. No more double casting marks on something. It was a problem. It's like a bug. They just changed the wording of Shakwa's Tornado to Twister. RIP Syndicate Operatives. So Syndicate Operatives are no longer, I would say, a meta build anymore. They reduced it down so they no more shotgun the field. So they brought them more in line also. I don't think people are going to run just Syndicate Operatives by themselves anymore. I think Ghastly has a video about this. I would recommend checking out Ghastly TV. He has a whole video dedicated to just this topic alone about the patch notes, and he explains it a lot better. But pretty much, you're going to use Syndicate Operatives as a clear, and you're going to have another skill as your bosser. You can no longer Syndicate Operatives as your clear and bosser. Captain Negative Resistance. Xanamods, we already knew about these. Breach, amazing early on, make easy money. Essence, nice early on, easy money. Legion's really nice. Once you get Legion set up, too bad we lost one of the best Legion passives. And Blight be very good because of the Ravage Blights. Add a slot for this. Oh yeah, they just added stuff. They finally added the Breach Blessings to the stash tab, which took them long enough. They added Delirium maps to the map tab, so it separates everything out. Too bad it's not, the 5% chance to get a Delirium on the map is gone. Quest rewards, PV change, and that's pretty much bugs, which I'm not going over. So that's pretty much it. The video took about 15 minutes longer than I was hoping it would. But I think we went through it all in general. I mean, it's a lot of patch notes. There's still a lot of questions about stuff. Not as many gems got nerfed as I thought they would or buffed. But overall looking pretty good. We still have days left before next league anyway, so things still can change. We don't know anything yet. And once POB gets released, we can finally start looking at builds. But until then, without seeing a POB, if there's any people who create these are the top builds for next league, you can't take it seriously without POB because of the mastery system changes a lot of builds. For the better or worse, we don't know. We don't know what the skill tree looks like in general. But hope everyone liked the video. If you like, subscribe down below. Come follow me on Twitch, and hope to see everyone and hope everyone has a good league start when it happens, and hope to see everyone on the next one.